Evening, people, and welcome to the season-ending Red Zone. A season ending on a bit of a chaotic 4-4 result. Maybe it was a bit of a reflection of our season, Avi. If you're expecting Gene has just called me about 10 minutes ago. He forgot his niece's birthday, believe it or not. Avi didn't accept it. I didn't accept it. But he is, I don't know, rumbling around the restaurant, maybe getting into the car and maybe find the stream in his car. But he's told us he's coming on in about 5-10 minutes. Avi looks a bit peed off. But Avi, we'll discuss Gene when he gets on. We'll give him a formal warning on the camera in front of all the comments and the viewers as well. But how are you, my friend? How did you manage to find a stream in the US, or were you struggling like me?
Yeah, we're lucky we've got a service here called Peacock, and the game was here. Great service again. Big shout out to Peacock, by the way. They've improved from the start of the season, where games they were broadcasting were a little bit jittery and stuff. But no, all games were live today. Could have done a split screen. It's called the PL Zone, and watched all 8 games simultaneously. But no, it was good. And
Did you
you know,
mention? Did you
sorry.
mention who is are they the ones the broadcaster that does like a bird's eye view as well and gives you stats in
Stats
game?
and all running stats of each player and who's covered the most ground and kilometers. So it's pretty nifty. All the tools, the XG is something that I'm not very a big fan of. The XG, I like things that are simple, like a ball of football, and you just got to score. But yeah, no, it's great for analytics and all that. But yeah, big shout out to Peacock. Watch the game,
Hmm.
thoroughly entertaining, and it's what I expected. Last game of the season, players are already on holiday. Southampton players, a little bit of pride in front of their fans. They gave it a good go. We did what we could. Lapse of concentration. So a few players playing for their careers. I
Hmm.
don't think they'll be playing for their careers much longer at Liverpool Football Club, but we'll go into that.
Avi, have you got your whip ready? Because I'm just about to
Yeah,
have it.
I know he's here, but let's see how long it lasts.
Here he is. Here he is. Just outside the restaurant. Have you managed to find a connection?
Just about, man. I've just about managed to find a connection outside. There's too inside. The loud music was too loud, man. Just about got out. Not bad area though, Clarence Dock.
Yeah.
Got
Are
some
you, are
boats in
you
the background.
are you in Leeds? Are you in Leeds?
Yeah, in Leeds. In Leeds.
Not bad, not bad, not bad. Gene, I was just about asking Avi, how did you find the last day, the last fixture? It was a bit of chaos, and it sort of reflected our season. Rubbish at the back, really good going forward at times, but so vulnerable and naive, and individual mistakes throughout the season, and probably cost us, top four position as well.
I'll be honest. I only got glimpses of the game, and I actually caught up with the goals after the game and watched the highlights. And to be fair, it just sums up our season. The game does all over the shop defensively, defensive errors. We managed to get the goals as well. Managed to come back at times, but weren't able to finish the game off. I thought judging, I think we had around 15 to 16 minutes left before when it went 4-4. So I thought, with it being Southampton, might have got the winner, and I was expecting a winner if I'm honest. But we did miss chances towards the end of the game. I think Salah was close to one as well. But all in all, I think we're all just glad that the season's sort of over. We go again sort of thing. We go again sort of thing. So yep, that's about it,
Is he
man.
still
I'm
badgering
just
on?
glad it's over.
Is he still badgering on?
Are you gonna? Are
Oh,
you?
go
Are
on.
you?
Oi. Saying
Don't
your name.
shout. I've got a name. Don't say oi. I got a name today. Yeah, you can say my name.
How,
Call me John. It's John to you today. Today
John.
to you, John. John.
John.
Shane John.
you know what John needs to do? He needs to pay for your bill tonight.
Shane John.
Lads. If only these guys had me and Avi 10 minutes before we started the show, they would have loved
Oh,
it. They would have loved it.
back and forth. But listen, I just want to say, before we get into the show, everyone knows we're on our road to 5K, 10K, 15K, 20K, and we will get there. We will get there in the new season, new shows, consistent shows. I just want to say it's been a pleasure sharing the screen with Asim first and foremost. Great host. Does the visuals for us, gets us in order, and Gene obviously like a big brother, man. He's just been amazing. So just want to give out a shout out to you two. You two both started the channel. You both asked me to come on, and it's become a regular thing now. So I'm proud to be part of this channel, and big things await for us next season.
Avi,
I'll
look.
let Avi, Asim, you go first before I start it.
No, look, this is our moment to sort of Avi. This is not our channel. This is your channel. and how
No, I know.
and we have about 3 hours or 4 hours conversations on WhatsApps nearly every single day, and we bring that sort of feel and vibe over to the camera, and this is why we've received so much good feedback. And you're not just a contributor, you are part of this channel. And one word I like to sort of describe yourself as, even when I talk about you or people ask about you, is loyal. I mean, you, my friend, you, my brother, you are loyal, and that's what I like about you. And look, this is your channel, and this is us going forward, and this is only the start. Believe you me, guys, this is only the start. There is so much to come next season. We have so much planned. We have got so many things, or even contributors who are lined up. So many great guests as well. But I'll stop waffling on. I'll let Gene sort of give Avi some thumbs up and
No, yeah, I'm actually.
let's give Avi a round of applause,
Listen,
man.
everybody knows on a serious note, guys, and I'm not just saying this. Avi is like, he's one of my own, and I'll always say that because this guy, regardless of whenever we've asked him,
It didn't
he's
sound
always
like
treated
you
this
were
channel
about
as
10
his own.
minutes ago.
Yeah, me and him are allowed to do that with each other, man. I'm allowed to say whatever I want to him. He's just not allowed to say whatever he wants to me. That's how it works. Whatever I say goes, sort of thing. But seriously, honestly, Avi knows how much love I've got for him. Oh, me and him had an argument literally 10 minutes ago. That's what it was. You guys, we don't know what happened. Me and him had an argument. But that's standard stuff with me and him. On a serious note, Avi, look, you're one of our own, and I can't thank you enough for everything. On the backstage, people don't know this guy. This guy gives us his everything, and he always has done from the minute we met him. So I've got to give props to him, man. He's always been there for us, and he's always guided us as well. Because for us guys, look, we want, me and Asim, let's face the music. We want guys that have done shows before or anything like that. He's always give us the best sort of advice and said this is the route to take. You might chat shit here and there, but to be fair to him, the guy's always been there for me, man. So props to you, mate.
Look, this is just to let you know before we broke into this. This is a season review for Liverpool. This was another review. But
No,
okay,
man.
This wasn't a review of me. This wasn't a review of me. I'm waiting for my paycheck. Don't worry.
look, you haven't got a hoodie. Have you sent him the hoodie yet, Gene?
He still hasn't sent me a hoodie.
Still hasn't sent that,
Still hasn't sent me that. But don't worry.
Yeah.
We'll come on to that. I don't want to argue anymore. Let's get into the game.
Okay, let's get into the game. The lineup, as you know, we always start with the lineup. Gene, Jurgen Klopp gets accused of sentiment towards his players, not ruthless enough. Did that lineup, especially with some names not even in the squad, some names, especially the back line, not in the team, did that have a feeling of sentiment towards those players? A last dance, a last hurrah for the likes of Milner and Bobby? I'm not saying they didn't deserve it, but some of the fan base, maybe on Twitter and all other platforms as well, there was a feeling of saying, look, we've had a good few months, we haven't lost. Look, whatever I'm gonna come at you with, the caveat to that is any team that Liverpool put out should be enough to beat the likes of Southampton, a relegated Southampton. But we haven't got a game for 2-3 months now. Why not start the likes of Van Dijk and Ibu and sort of beat Saints 6-7-0? Because even with this team, it could have easily been that. But because of these players like Shimikas and Gomez, who have not had the greatest seasons, let's not make any mistake about that, but they haven't got any minutes in the game as well. They have lacked intensity all throughout the season. But my sort of question to you is, did that have sentiment written all over the lineup?
Look, even if he had sentiment written all over it, players like Bobby, Firmino, James Milner, they deserve a send off. I know they got the game at Anfield, but you know what? If we had nothing really to play for, sort of thing, there wasn't anything. We weren't going to increase. We weren't going to get into the top four. That we weren't going to finish sixth. So look, I don't have an issue with that. Players that played like I'm glad these played players like Joe Gomez. They got the start, and to be fair, I think if anything, Joe Gomez's performance personally, I thought it was shocking from what I saw in the highlights. And I'll be honest, Asim, you look at that performance, did anyone take their chances? But the few that did start, probably not. Joe Gomez, if anything, all I heard from people was, all I read on Twitter and what I saw was people want him probably sold after that performance. It was a chance for him to come in and sort of show what we've sort of missed because, let's face the music, a few years ago, he's one of our best centre-backs. But since this season, I thought, bar, let's say, the City game and probably one more, I think he's been shocking, if I'm honest. And if I'm honest, if something of a bid around 40 million came in, I'd take it. I'd bite their hand off and I'd go and buy another centre back. But sentiment, I think, look, I don't already have an issue with that. You know, if it's James Milner and Bobby Firmino is their final game, if they were going to play fair play, I don't really. I wasn't, to be fair, I think I wasn't too fussed about them two playing. I was glad though that few like Gomez. Look, you know, if we were going to say, if anything, it's shown that we're not good enough. Do you know what doesn't mean good enough?
Avi, one side to this argument is let's be ruthless, play your first team, and move on to the bigger and better things throughout the summer and next season. But another sort of argument is, look, we need to play some players like Kelleher. Maybe you've been talking about if Liverpool are going to get an offer for him. What's the term? Put them in the shop window. The likes of Shimikas, the likes of Gomez, the likes of Matip. And I know it's only one game, but give them a game. Either prove to us that you have got the sort of the fire in the belly for next season, or move on, because we need to have this refresh that everybody, and including us, that I've been talking about. It's time to get down to business. And if anyone hasn't got the hunger, then they can't be here.
Yeah, but I think it's always hard, Asim, to assess based on that final game of the season. And I'm not trying to give the players any leeway here. I thought Joe Gomez was absolutely atrocious. It was his worst performance, and he's had a few this season. I've actually thought that the Man City game at home was the turning point. And I thought, okay, this is the Joe Gomez of old. And literally that day against Haaland, against Man City's attack, I thought he was our best defender. He actually got man of the match. I think Gary Neville at Sky gave it to him. But he's looked a shadow of the player. The knee injuries, you could say, have been sort of the end of his career at Liverpool or at a top club. And just to think, he just turned 25 last week. Kelleher, I've said it before, a few good performances here and there. I actually don't think he's a top goalkeeper. And you were saying, Asim, last week, you thought we were going to get 25 or 30 for him. Honestly, right now, I'll be happy if someone offers us 15 million. I thought positionally, again, not just based on today, I don't think positionally he's great. Today, there were some shots that he let in. I think all four could have been stopped. I think if Ali's in goal, he stops probably all four, even the Armstrong one, which was at the end, which was the fourth, which was a good goal, but I thought a better goalkeeper saves that. Simicas, last week you posted a video at Anfield with him in tears. It felt as if his career could be sort of dwindling down, or he could be looking for new pastures. But there are a few players there that we could get good offers for, and obviously they need replacing. Kelleher, Gomez, Matip. But then if you're selling two of those, you're looking at two in. Or have we got enough funds, which will be the subject now, which we three will disagree and agree on? Is there money there to get two centre backs in? 100%, I think we're going to get one in, but it also, to get two, I don't think that's feasible. So I think Gomez will stay. But yeah, today's game, again, I don't want to be too critical because most of them were on holiday mode. Most of them are kind of like, ready to end the season. Fabinho today was the Fabinho we've seen for the first sort of 6 months of the season. He was absolutely poor again. Trent offered us something, I thought he was the only one who offered us something. Salah, again, probing, the only one. Could have got four again today. He could have got 3 or 4, and he was unlucky not to even score or get his name on the score sheet. Jota, brilliant goal scoring. I think he had 2 chances, 2 goals. But yeah, like you said, sentimental FC today. The little, cameo for Milner, giving him 65, 70 minutes. That's fine. And Bobby, I will go on record to say Bobby could still offer us 2 years at the top. I think he's going to just age like fine wine. I think Spain is a great move for him, a slower paced league. He'll score goals. He'll be pivotal to wherever he goes next. And I am not surprised one bit that there's talk of Real Madrid coming in for him.
But just touching on and I probably agree, but isn't the amount of injuries that Bobby was picking up, especially this season, a concern for you? But
he wasn't going to be he wasn't going to be a starter though. I think he would have been fine as a player that starts in some games and then hangs back in some games, or like comes off on the bench. I just think that the time was right. and I hate saying that because there's players there who've outstayed their welcome. There was an article yesterday that was released. I think Anfield Talk, big up to Anfield Talk, that said, and it had Klopp saying, Milner said something like, the manager wanted to keep me, but it was actually a board decision to let me go. That screams of desperation. That screams of too much loyal from our manager. And we've seen it with him, funds or no funds. There's players that need to go now. And James Milner is one of them. Great servant, but his time has come up. Firmino, I thought maybe another year we could have got out of him. But look, he wants to go out in Spain. He's 31, still got another 3-4 years in him, maybe retiring in Brazil after that. Let him go. It's fine.
Gene, I know we're probably sidetracking a touch as well, but it's an interesting point, and it's a discussion that's always there or thereabouts on the tongues of Liverpool fans. But Avi mentioned that Klopp. What's that noise? Is that Gene? Avi mentioned regarding Klopp and his loyalty and lack of ruthlessness is what people accuse him of, and he just brought correctly the interview that Milner had. But maybe I don't know. Look, do we miss the context here of Milner not? So we don't have we're not privy to the conversation between Klopp and Milner. Maybe he was offering him some sort of coaching role, and Milner. You ask James Milner, he thinks he should be starting in the Liverpool midfield. Never mind right back, in the heart of midfield. So he thinks he's got some legs in a project at Brighton where he thinks he could get 15, 20, 30 games still in their team. So we don't know, but I agree. But it also puts the sort of narrative to bed, Gene, to an extent that Klopp has too much control at the club. And that's my question to you. How much control does Klopp have? And if he did have the full control at the club, or if he was too powerful, then when it comes to the decisions like keeping James Milner at the club, then why is he being overruled by the board?
Look, Asim, a lot of people have mentioned, Klopp has too much power at the sort of club, and he's showing sentiment to some of his players. Yes, I get there are a player or two that he probably has, but what you need to understand is, I'll be honest with you, Klopp's mentioned this. He said, "If I've got money to spend, do you not think I'm going to go out and spend it?" And I think some of these players, they would have been gone a long time ago if Klopp was given the funds. And if there was adequate funding there, he would have got rid of them players. We would have seen a more of a ruthless side to him. But obviously, when you don't have that, and then you're hampered in terms of how much you've got to spend, it's gonna impact you. It's gonna impact what you believe in. Once I think.
Is he giving someone a dressing down behind him? God's sake.
Yeah,
no, they're good lads, man. These lads are good lads. No, I was just saying, yeah. Look, and what you got to understand. I genuinely believe that. Yes, I can understand there are a couple of players that we probably gave contracts to, which probably I would have probably thought, maybe a year max. I'll be honest with you, Hendo at the time when he got the contract, I thought it was 3 or 4 years. I was baffled by that myself. But he was the captain. We go by Klopp. We trust him, and we always will do. But there has been instances where he has shown loyalty to some of the players. But I genuinely believe, Asim, if he had the funds to actually go and cement his mark on the transfer market over the years, he would have done. But he hasn't. So at the end of the day, he's not going to exactly come out and slay his players, is he? He's going to back them all the time. That's just the way he is and the manager is. And another thing is, he accepted the model. So he's not exactly going to come out and go against the owners, is it? It's a model that he's accepted. He was fine with it, and he's going along with it. So, look, I get that there's some players that in terms of sentiment, but generally, I genuinely believe if Klopp had the funds, he'd be as ruthless as Pep. Personally, if he had the funds like Pep player comes in, not good enough, bang, gone. Another £50 million player comes in. You don't think Klopp would do that? Of course he would. He's an elite manager. He wants to win. He's a winner.
I mean, someone told me yesterday that Klopp should be told just to sort of manage and coach the team and do not get involved in the transfers. But tell me, does someone at Manchester City tell Pep Guardiola who he's signing this summer, or the last 3-4 summers that have just gone by? Any great manager, the longer they stay at the club, generally speaking, especially in today's football, they bring in success to the club. So the more success you bring to the club, generally speaking, the more powerful you get. And that Jurgen Klopp is no different, is he?
No, and he deserves a bit of power. Not a bit. He deserves a lot of sort of power when it comes to finding the right players. We know that he looks for just not the quality of a player. He looks at the personality, the lifestyle that the player has. You'll never see Klopp associated with the likes of a Zlatan or a Mario Balotelli. Well, we had Mario Balotelli when Klopp first took over, but he just didn't want anything to do with him. Klopp won't work with certain agents. The late Mino Raiola, Klopp was never going to work with him. There are certain players that fit the criteria, and it's been a successful sort of thought process that Klopp and his team sort of have instructed. They only want certain personalities, and the recruitment got that too. The likes of Michael Edwards, Julian Ward, the analytical team, they knew what kind of character fitted this Jurgen Klopp team. And he does deserve a bit of player control, but sometimes it can be too much. The over sort of loyal, the over loyal sort of process with Naby, the Oxes, they've stayed a tad too long. We could have got fees for them last season or the season before that. Naby just was broken down ever since the 2018-19 season when he joined. Fair few games here, but he was getting injured regularly. Ox was getting injured regularly. Apart from that, away from that big injury that he had in 2017-2018 season, we should have cut ties then, because we could have got fees then and replaced him. But yes, look, it comes down to funds and what FSG were going to part ways with. We already, literally strangled that talk. But no, he deserves some credit. And if George Shamatke, who is coming in, probably butchered that name, if they already know their targets, and we do know the imminent arrival of McAllister, which should be confirmed by Wednesday or Thursday latest. I know there's a few reports coming out right now from Argentinian sources that are saying that he has actually signed a contract till 2028, but we'll just let the club confirm that. They already have their targets in place. I mean, that the midfielders' names that are being mentioned, you'd pretty much know that pool of players, we will be confirming 2, 3. I think we're going to get 3 midfielders in. I'll let the others decide. But yeah, no, look, he is allowed to have player control, but it's got to be the right control, Asim, if that makes sense. Pep Guardiola has got the riches of money, and he's got a very close relationship with Tixi Bextrian, who worked with him at Barcelona and then followed him at Manchester City. So they already know the kind of players that Pep Guardiola wants at his club. Klopp now needs to build that relationship with this George guy who's coming in. And I think he's on a 3-month probation. I don't know what's happening there. I still feel that's a bit of a mess.
That was my question.
Yeah.
One question, Avi. Why would we bring in a sporting director for 3 months when we've already, more or less, we sort of know who our targets are. We know who we're going to go for. It just doesn't make any sense.
Gene, it could just be that we'll maybe be buying a player or two from Germany, and that's why he's coming for. It baffles me why he's coming in only 3 months. It's not a very solid decision, but I don't know. Maybe there's something they've seen in the German market where they feel that this George guy will be able to assist in. I don't know. That leaves a lingering question.
Avi, what do you think about the theory where we're bringing this guy in because the main targets that we had, the likes of Mason Mount, the likes of Jude Bellingham, have basically, whether I don't know which camp you're in, whether they've rejected us or we moved away, it doesn't really matter. The fact of the matter is that we're not going to get them come through the doors at Anfield this summer. So we have to change tactic now, and we have to look for smart bargains. Add to the fact that we've just missed out on Champions League, which will affect. We've seen James Pearce. Doesn't matter what you think about his credibility, reliability. He is a brilliant journalist in terms of how close he's been to the football club over the last 15, 20 years since his days. So he knows one or two things about the club. So we have to trust him, and we do as a channel. But you have to understand is now we're bringing in a guy. Are we bringing a guy? This George Schmatek.
You said it better than me. No, that was a great effort, Asim, by the way.
No, okay, thank you very much. What do I get for that? 9.5?
You get a beard later on. Carry on. Because
are we bringing him in because we're in panic mode?
No, I don't think it's panic mode. Like I said, these players we've probably identified already without Champions League football. I don't think Klopp in the last sort of 5-6 weeks was planning to get players in and talking to these players and their agents saying that, look, we've got Champions League football next year. No, Klopp works with, listen, you want to play for this football club first and foremost, and then you want to play alongside the players that I have and then play for the manager. Klopp isn't about, listen, we offering you Champions League football, this and that. No, he wants to look at players who want to play for this football club first and foremost. That's why I think bringing this George guy in, maybe just to smoothen the paperwork, the transaction. I don't literally know. This is out of my forte, but I just feel. Sorry,
did you say we're bringing in a guy for some paperwork?
what could it be? He's not coming in for his player acumen or mine, because we've already identified the targets. I think we've already identified the targets. What do you think he's coming in for? To be a masseuse? To massage Klopp's leg? Yeah. What's he coming in for then?
I don't know why we're bringing in a guy. Why 3 months? Is it some sort of glorified audition to bring him into the thingy?
Probation. It could be probation to see.
Are we bringing a guy that we don't really trust or we don't really believe in? You generally give someone at least a year contract, don't you? Minimum.
Not necessarily.
3 months.
Come on, Avi, man.
Listen, we're entering. Listen, you have 3 months. You have 3 months of the window. You need a director in place. Whether he's a sporting director, I don't know. You need a director in place to make sure that transfers are smoothened and they get done. That's what he's brought in to do. So yes, there's probably is some paperwork. There's probably a fax machine somewhere as well where he's going to be involved in dialing a few numbers. He's not coming in to have a little ride and try to massage Klopp's ego now, is he? He's coming obviously to do a role which we won't be able to identify what role he's going to be doing, but he's there to make sure that the players that we're linked with, that those transactions are done, and we've got the players that Klopp wants. That's all in a nutshell.
The only hope I've got, Avi, is I hope we've got someone better and more equipped. Maybe, I don't know, these sort of people are never really household names, but I hope our number one target is not available yet. So we do need someone.
But Julian Ward was an anomaly. Jude
in 3 months.
No, sorry, I was about to say Jude Ward there. Julian Ward was an anomaly. We didn't know anything about Julian Ward. Michael Edwards, we knew probably a tad of the work that he's done at Portsmouth, at Spurs previously, but nothing major. So Michael Edwards was a normal guy that came in. Julian Ward came in for a year. He's got Diaz out of the way, Dan Gakpo as well. Now he's moving on. So maybe this George guy, listen, let's not sort of like put him down before he's actually started. Let him do his work. Let's judge him. Let's judge him week by week, month by month. And listen, it might be that we may extend his contract.
And Dazzle says he's coming in to throw a chewing gum at
managers.
Yeah, but let's see what happens. Just on a Mason Mount chain. Mason Mount, there's been some reports where he's saying Liverpool. He's rejecting Liverpool because the lack of Champions League football that Liverpool don't have next season. What do you make of that? Going to Man United, does he see the project there as a better one than Liverpool's, or has he simply gone for a club that's offered him more money? Gene, where do you sit into this whole Mason Mount story?
Look, Mason Mount, everybody knows, I really wanted us to buy the player, but if he's rejecting, wages, let's say in the region, let's say 250 to 300, grand a week, we ain't gonna pay that. Let's face the music. And I've been told that's the sort of money that he was wanting at Chelsea. And look, United are renowned to pay stupid wages to their players, and they've been stuck a few times in the past. We are never gonna pay somebody the likes of Salah's wages at the age of 24. It just doesn't make sense. So personally, look, I don't really buy the Champions League bit, because everybody knows deep down it's probably a season that we're going to be more or less out. I genuinely believe we'll be back in next season. And United, let's face it, why right now, okay, they're on the trajectory is slightly going towards the right direction, but they've been pretty lucky this season as well. The results have gone their way. We've been really, really bad. Chelsea have been really bad, and things have worked out for them. And look, I can't see any reason why anybody right now would choose, even right now, we might not be in top four, would choose United over us personally. But if that's the way he feels, that's fair play to him. He wants to go for 300 grand a week. Fair play, you can go. I'm not too fussed, because he isn't the only player that we're linked to that is capable of playing on that right hand side. I was thinking about you the day I asked you the question: is he the only player? Is there any other right sided midfielder? There are midfielders out there, and I think Liverpool will go out and spend and get in the right sort of players. But if somebody really hasn't got his heart set for Liverpool, and we've quoted him since Abby mentioned since October, we spoke to his dad and all that sort of stuff. Why not? And now all of a sudden United want to pay 55 million and throw money at him. Good riddance, mate. If you want to go.
I mean, that's the attitude that Liverpool and Klopp in the summer. They need to have this sort of approach, don't they, towards the players, incoming players, I should say. And just like the manager said yesterday, after the reports started filtering through about Salah's tweet the other day, that look, Mo Salah is happy at Liverpool Football Club. If anyone does not want to be here and gives a reason that we don't have Champions League and I'm not happy, then I'll happily drive them to that club. And that's the exactly thing that we need. And it's just exactly what I was saying earlier about this club, this Klopp 2.0 needs every single person, the players and the staff, on board next season because we have to go again. And we simply can jump from fifth. I believe, sat here, regardless of not knowing the sort of signings at Liverpool, I hope we really bring in the players that we need. But if we're going to bring 4 or 5 players, I trust Jurgen Klopp and his coaching staff to get it right. They've got it right in the past, and they will get it right again this summer. And it's very important that we have everyone on board for next season.
Yeah, and look, just quickly on Mason Mount, and we'll move on. Obviously, we've got to do the reviews and stuff and talk about the game.
It's getting dark between as well.
Mason and Mount.
I'm bloody freezing outside, mate.
Mason, well, you deserve to be freezing. I hope you catch a cold or something. I literally,
You're the one who's got one.
yeah, I know. Mason Mount. Look, you can believe me or not. You can call me whatever you guys want. You know, I can take the banter. Mason Mount, as early as March, April, has wanted Liverpool, and we weren't in top four then. So what's changed? I don't know. I don't know whether our position has changed or Chelsea. We're not going to pay over 45 million. I've been adamant on that all last few months. If United are coming in with a 60 million pound bid, good luck to them. Good luck to Mason Mount. He can go there. He can have his top four. He knew that we probably won't get top four, and he was fine with that. He has said that he wants Liverpool. Let's see where it goes. We're not offering more than 45. We will walk away from that deal.
Okay. We've talked a bit about transfers. We've talked about today's game. I think this show tonight, the Red Zone, is all about the season review. And let me get the first slide up.
We will break some, whether you can call it breaking news, but we will inform the people in the chat as well. Please I want to see all the likes first and foremost, and I will let you know that there's been significant talks and possibly an offer for one of Southampton's players this evening.
There we are. We've got a blue chip.
I don't think there's any second guesses either of who that player may be. Carry on.
Avi, just before we go, were you on a James Ward-Prowse watch today or Lavia watch? Or both? Just before we go into the player ratings.
11 goals for James Ward-Prowse, 8 assists this season in a Southampton team. Scored again, a beautiful finish today. Do not ever speak don't ever spit on James Ward-Prowse's name. Okay, he was absolutely brilliant today. He scored, but obviously we were all on Mr. Lavia's watch today.
Yeah, I turned it off after he passed it to Jota, but maybe that'll decrease his value by 5 million. But let's go to the performance of the season, guys. Avi and Chin, you've both gone for United 7-0. I had to be a bit different. I've gone for the second half against Arsenal, although we didn't get the result. But I thought this was the performance of the season in terms of what we've seen, not necessarily the result. But you both still gone for United 7-0. What made you choose that?
Shall I go first? Gene?
Yeah,
I think Gene's frozen. I'll go first. Okay. It's Man United, isn't it? It's Manchester United. All this talk of Ten Hag, he's revitalized this team. They were coming in full of confidence, coming to Anfield. All their content creators, every single one of them, the rats that I call them, were saying that United were going to win. United were going to get a result at Anfield for the first time in so many years. They're going to beat Liverpool at Anfield. Anything but. We absolutely annihilated them. Everything that was going to go in went in. It was a perfect result. It was a perfect storm. All this talk of quad at one stage for a week or so, there was talk of United doing the quad. We put that to bed. Great result, great game. Darwin got a couple, Gakpo got a couple. So, like Gakpo's 2 finishes were sublime, and that was the sort of coming of Cody Gakpo that game. That's when we realized, we've picked up another. That for me epitomized everything. I can see why you went for the Arsenal game, the second half, Asim. I can definitely see that. But for me, the United game was absolutely sensational from start to finish.
Gene, why did you choose the 7-0 thrashing of United as a performance this season? And I think Ahmed Twins Ball Daily, we've missed you, man, for the last 2, 3 shows you've not been in. We were wondering where you've gone, but nice to see you back, Ahmed. I hope you and family are well. He says the result against City has to be the most complete performance of the season, and that is definitely, a sort of an honorary shout because that performance, I think we did a 4-4-2 that day against City, and we countered them well. Although City came with to Anfield that day, Gene, I think they were playing that 3-4-1-2. They were playing Foden really wide. They couldn't really make their mind up if he's a wide winger or a wide wing back. But they were having their own problems. But explain to me why you went with the United 7-0.
Look, first and foremost, I think the second half performance for me was, I thought we were brilliant in the second half. We were ruthless. You could tell there was something about us where we just wanted to sort of go out at United and sort of kill them. And every time we went forward, we went to kill. And I actually understand, the second half performance against Arsenal, that was a big performance because it's the first time we played the Trent in the inverted space. But all in all, like Avi mentioned, I think for me it was the performance of Gakpo as well, because I'll be honest with you, them two finishes, even though I knew he had a decent finish, he's a decent finisher. Them two finishes were it just made me proud of him, because I was like, you know what? There's more to this player than that meets the eye. And he finally, like Avi mentioned, he finally announced himself. And every single one of our forwards more or less scored. Salah got 2, Darwin got 2, Jota, and Gakpo got 2. So for me personally, that was the performance. And look, beating United in any game is a big one. So and beating United in a 7-0 at Anfield, it has to be one of the best performances of the season if any side does that to United. So that's why I went for the United. But you know what, Asim, I actually, second half versus Arsenal, now you've mentioned that, I didn't think of it that far. That's definitely on par with that performance though.
And look, I understand why it's very easy to go with United 7-0, and 9 out of 10 times most people probably will. Dominic mentioned 3-1 at Villa away. I thought Villa probably the better side. I think me and you were at the ground that day, Gene. I think Villa were probably the better side in the second half of that game. But I went with the second half against Arsenal. Why? Because it was that first game, I think, if I remember correctly, where we went to this new system. Arsenal came as league leaders. And, for the first 25, 30 minutes, I cannot probably say they were the best team that visited Anfield this season. They were all over us, just to use a term that Gene likes to use, all over us like a rash. And we could not get near them. We were probably giving them too much respect. And maybe we were getting used to this new system. But second half, and I know fans will probably say Arsenal saw the finishing line, but I think that was after a long time I saw Liverpool have sustained attacks. And when you have sustained attacks, then you really pin back the opposition. And it's probably a compliment to Liverpool in that game that Arsenal went for maybe about 5-10 minutes, a small part of the game, 5 at the back. The league leaders at Anfield went 5 at the back to protect their lead. And yes, they did get nervous. Yes, they felt the pressure. They might have bottled it, as many pundits have stated that the actual bottle started at 2-2. But I'm with someone like Gary Neville. If you sort of many teams we've seen over the last 15, 20, amongst the history of Liverpool Football Club, it takes a long time so many teams have bottled it, quote unquote, at Anfield. And 2-0 to 2-2 wasn't a bottle job for me. Yes, they saw the finishing line, but I think it was down to Liverpool's front foot football. And I think that stood out for me. And maybe that was the reason where that was the moment that these players believed again that we're not a bad side. We've still got world-class players managed by a world-class coaching team. And I think that we use that as a springboard for the next couple of games. And we haven't lost maybe in about 11 to 12 games now. So, and to do it against a top tier team like Arsenal was really, confidence boost for fans themselves and most importantly, the players as well. Any thoughts? Do you agree? Yes. Have I changed your mind?
No, you still haven't changed my mind, but that was a great little thesis you did there.
Oh,
Should have gone to
thank you.
university, Asim.
Have you just nicked that word from Ahmed? Because you just
No,
you
I've
just
used thesis
He
many times.
definitely nicked it. He's
look.
definitely nicked that
We're
word.
always.
Gene, you know my vocabulary is very good, okay?
I'm always.
Exemplary, exemplary, please.
I'm.
Oh,
I'm
you
always
both
a
went
step
Salah over
ahead.
Alisson.
I'm always a step ahead. Moving on to the player of the season, you actually text me these lists today, so thank you very much,
Yeah.
Asim, for creating these slides at such short notice. But we'll leave that to another day. Avi, player of the season, I'll start with you. Me and you actually agreed with this one, Muhammad Salah. Gene, we'll go with you actually. Why did you choose Alisson Becker?
Alisson, man. If it was not for Alisson, I'm just maybe sat in bloody bottom half of the table. It just, I'll be honest with Salah. Yeah, great, good season. But let's face the music. I know, yes, he might have got the goals and the assists, the numbers. But in terms of performances, you have to pick Alisson this season. I can't, honestly, I'm actually quite shocked that you've actually both gone with Salah over Alisson. I'm actually pretty shocked with that because there's no way any player this season for Liverpool's done more for Liverpool than Alisson. He saved us every single game. For the first 20 games, if it wasn't for him, we'd be 3-0 down at half time for most of the games. So honestly, I'm actually quite shocked to see Salah ahead of Alisson. And if it wasn't for him, the amount of saves that he made, God knows where we'd be. And I know you can caveat that saying, yeah, if it wasn't for Salah's goals, where we could be, but it's completely different for the goalkeeper and the forward. You get a lot more chances when you're forward, and Salah did get the chances, but Alisson, the amount of big saves he made, it's not even close. I actually want to know why you picked Salah over Alisson now.
I think it's very close. I think it's very close. I actually gave Salah a 9. I don't think anyone deserved a 10 for this season.
Oh, come on. What does Alisson get?
I got Alisson 8.5.
We'll come on to player ratings.
Anyway.
I just want to
I have to give him something. For
just-
me, not to give a player. Look, it was neck and neck. If I could give Alisson 8.9.
9 is a season when he scored bloody the thing. That's the type of season, man. When you see, yes, like last season or something for the first 4 or 5 months, you can't give Salah a 9 this season. Anyway, let's carry on.
But look at that output.
2 missed penalties, man. There's been huge penalties as well.
I think look. Let's talk about this. Look, Alisson. Look, of course, he's probably going to be player of this season. Amazing season. Don't get me wrong. Alisson has, he's proved it yet again. He's the best goalkeeper in the world. Forget the Premiership, in the world. But for me, I've chosen Salah again because Gene. The reason being, and to the people in the comments saying, Alisson, this is his 6th season. He's doing it time and time again. His output is.
Avi, we're talking about
no. Gene, 1 minute. Let me speak.
Man.
Let me speak. Okay. Let me speak. You get a gumball or something to make yourself warm. Okay. Keep yourself warm, please. Look, Salah for me, 6 seasons in a row, 6 years in a row. He's not meant to be doing these numbers, guys. He is not meant to be producing the numbers that he is. He's just not. And he's doing it season in, season out. He's getting better and better. Yes, he had a slow start to the season. Granted that. I think everyone did. But he's come back leaps and bounds again and again. He's got what for the season? 32, 33 again. 19 in the league. Was very unlucky not to score a hat trick today. And his all-round play has been phenomenal. That paragraph last week that he tweeted, that for me just edged it. He's hurting. He's hurting more than anyone that we've failed. And he said it. He said we have failed.
The season,
he said,
I have to come in here. Why are you justifying Salah's Player of the Season award for a tweet?
No. That for me edged it. For me, that edged it. It's not just about what he does on the pitch. No, it's also what he does off the pitch for me as well.
This is the Player of the Season.
Okay, Player of the Season. His goals and assists. That takes it for me. His goals and assists for me takes it for me. Alisson made a few blunders this season too. Don't forget that. You can talk about Salah's 2 penalty misses, and yes, in hindsight, they cost us the draw against Bournemouth and maybe another penalty miss against Arsenal. But listen, for me, what he's doing at 31 years old is phenomenal.
Yeah.
But but I don't disagree. I don't disagree that it could have been Alisson too. I don't disagree with that either.
Look, people are saying Salah's missed some crucial penalties. I think that Madrid blunder, like Bizarre says, it wasn't a bizarre blunder. It was a shocking blunder, and that arguably got, I think, Real Madrid back into the game. I think we were all over Real Madrid. those 10, 15 minutes, they didn't know what hit him.
Asim, that was the second goal, by the way. The first
It
one,
was, it
Vinicius.
was, it was a second goal. It was a second goal. That Vinicius was the first. Sorry, my bad. But it's still a blunder, wasn't it? And my point is he's made some blunders. But just like Ahmed says, 14 clean sheets in such a dysfunctional, rubbish season where the back line, and let's remember, we changed system about 3, 4, 5 times, so the stability wasn't there throughout the season in the back line. But Alisson, as ever, for the last 5, 6 seasons, he has been the star performer. But like I said, it's neck and neck. Gene, if someone comes to me and says Alisson was the player of the season, you can't really argue with that.
Asim, I will argue every single day. And believe you me, I am Salah's biggest fan. You cannot give it to Salah this season based on this season over Alisson, boys. It doesn't make sense. You know what? I'll go with it.
The only reason
you're mad.
The only
I want to
reason.
see one comment. I want to see one comment on that agrees with you, that is Salah. Both
Gene,
here.
the only
Anybody
reason-
that go
No,
with Salah over
but
Alisson?
listen, I'm saying
on,
it could go. I'm saying, look, with the swing of things, it could go either way. Look, on another day, I might say Allison, but
Not
for
swing of
me,
things, man.
I'm just edging Salah. I'm just edging it to Salah.
Gene,
For me, it's not even close.
the hardest
That's
job.
fair
In
enough.
football, the hardest job in football is to put the ball back in the back of the net. Yes or no?
Yeah. But
Yeah.
when you're one second. When you've got a goalkeeper that has absolutely nothing this season.
What Salah's?
If it wasn't for him, we would be starting in the 12th position this season. That's the simple truth.
Gene, just like Salah, just like Alisson had a sort of a unstable back line in front of him, Salah had a shocking midfield in front of him.
Asim, yeah, Salah got quite a few penalties this season. Salah. Okay, let's face the music. I'll be honest. Salah had a good season. That's it. Salah had a good season. You're making it out like Salah was flipping player of the season. I don't get it. Yes, he scored goals. So what?
What is it? 46.
That doesn't make you the player of the season.
Gene, 16
Just
assists.
by scoring 19 goals. Come on. Yeah, I get that. It doesn't matter. I think
Guys,
Anyway.
we will argue this, especially with Cheat. There's no point of arguing with him. His IQ.
Yeah, because you don't understand the game. That's why it's not my fault.
His IQ is his IQ is the same amount of clean sheets that Ellison has kept this season. Okay, it's not that high.
Anyway, agrees with me, barring
super chat vice selection. Logically speaking, Salah's goals would lead to nothing for without Alisson holding us down, in my opinion. Giving Salah
go on selection, man.
Who
Thank
gave
you very much.
No.
So glad
Selection's
Adi
my
read
boy.
that.
Selection's
I'm
my
so
boy.
glad
Baskat.
Yeah, I'm so
Tobakar.
glad you read that. I'm so glad you read it.
Who gave Salah a 9?
I give him a 9.
Oh, then you fucking lost the plot giving him a 9. No one is worth a 9. Fucking hell. Look, and I'll be real. Now, thanks, Selection, for the super chat. Make sure you like and subscribe if you haven't already. Listen, we'll argue till the dogs. Look, Addison, for
Can you
me...
go to the next slide, please?
I think we have to give this to Gene, Avi. Because what we're going to do is tomorrow, we'll have to put on Twitter, I want to put an official BNR season review and player ratings. And this will be one.
No. Can I tell you what to do? I got a better one. Salah or Alisson, player of the season for Liverpool. Just do that for me.
No, Gene is... No. Gene,
look, no.
Gene, no one is saying he
you
isn't.
think you're bad. No. I want to see, because I believe it's by a mile. So I actually want to see the difference.
By a mile, he says, fucking...
All right, we'll see.
He's the idiocy that you have in your brain. You're an idiot saying by a mile. Are you feeling right? Is he feeling right? By a mile, he said.
46.
We finished fifth. We finished fifth, and you're saying by a mile, Alisson is the player of the fucking... Carry on, Asim, please. Fifth. Otherwise, we're going to be like this every day. Come on.
Yeah, okay. But look, with the player ratings, I don't think we should be able to do them all. We've already been 48 minutes. I think we'll...
I think what we should do... I think what we should do is... Oh, don't ask me about the meal. I think what we should do is pick out 5 players, I think, and then we'll go on to new signings. I'll go first. My 5 players this season, it's going to be, Alisson's obviously got to be one. Brilliant. Obviously, we've just spoken about him. Salah, obviously, is for me. Curtis Jones, for me, gets in that list of 5. Improved and stayed injury-free and played consistently well the last 12 games. Sorry?
Curtis Jones gets into your 5. Why?
Because there's not that many to pick from, Asim. There's not that many players to pick from that list.
I want to write this down.
Okay, so Alisson,
Salah, Salah,
Curtis Jones gets a mention.
Curtis.
Stefan Bajicic, I thought he was the pick of a bad bunch in midfield, and he's going
Yeah.
to be
He
absolutely
played.
brilliant next season. Well, can I finish? Stop being rude. Mute yourself. Stefan Bajicic will
Okay.
come leaps and bounds again next season. He'll go again. And the fifth, oof,
You're in trouble, Abby. I'm telling you, you're in trouble.
no, the
I,
fifth
I'm
I'll give
telling
it.
Let him
The
guess now.
fifth,
Let him guess. Look, now he's gonna
the
guess. Now he's
fifth,
guessing. Gone.
no, the fifth is a tough one, but I'm going to give it to Bobby. Sentimental FC, sentimental chip. Bobby just over Gakpo.
Avi,
Gakpo's
you've
played
just
well.
taped it for
I'll go
Gakpo.
with my five.
Let me finish. This is not a time to do a bit of roller. Just let me finish. Gakpo would have got it, but Bobby just because he's leaving. And listen, he scored goals this year. I think he got 13 in 34 in the end, Bobby.
14.
Um,
14, I think.
yeah. So Bobby gets a mention. So my five were Allison, Bajicic, Curtis Jones, Salah, and Bobby Firmino.
My
And
five.
there's a lot in the comments now. There's a few in the comments that are agreeing as well by me with my selection. Gakpo. See, for me, it was Gakpo or Bobby.
My five, I think Allison and Salah are obviously nailed on. Um, I'll go Gakpo, 3. Um, I think I'll go with Ibu. I think Ibu, yes, he was blighted by injuries, but I think whenever he plays well. And he's probably the only reason why this probably system. Yes, Trent has got more protection, more time on the ball, but it's mainly because of Ibu playing that right back role so well. So well. And today was an example of who we missed. I go for Ibu. So have I got 4? That leaves it 1. I think I have to probably go with is Stefan or Bobby. I probably because he's a young
Not
kid.
Gakpo.
I said that,
Let
didn't
him
I?
finish. I don't
I,
want to swear. I don't want to swear because it was your birthday week. Okay, so I don't. So just
I
calm
said
down a
Salah.
minute.
I said Salah Ibu. Salah. He's bloody lost me as well now. Who do I say? Salah Allison, Gakpo, Ibu, and I'll probably go for Stefan, just over Bobby. Do you agree, Gene?
I'm going Allison.
A team of Allison, a team of Allison. We will
I like
dream
that
of a
one.
team of
Go
Allison.
on, I like that, man. I
You
respect
know
you
that,
for that song.
Mm.
Yeah, I like that. I like
So,
that.
so
No,
Asim,
honestly, Asim.
just to go over your five again, Asim.
Yeah, I got Allison, Salah, Ibu,
Ibu,
Gakpo,
Gakpo, and
and
Stefan.
Bajetic.
Beige, fair enough. Yeah.
Yeah.
To be
Gene,
fair, Asim, honestly, look, I don't know if did I send you my 5. They were my 5.
Who? These 5 that just come up from Ash.
Ali Gakpo, Salah, Ibu, Stevie B. Got it?
Yeah.
They were
Ash,
they were my 5.
Behave, Johnny.
Thank you,
Behave.
John. See, John knows the game.
Well, Avi, just to question you, how come Curtis got into your top 5? Top 5.
Because he's been berated. He gets so much negativity chucked at him. For the last 12 games, he's been important in this run as well of 12 games unbeaten. He's been a pivotal part alongside Trent's transition as well. So that's why he gets my vote. Bajicic, like I said, best of a bad bunch. Salah, the goals and the assists. Allison, obviously, doesn't even need a
What's
mention. Everyone knows his
can I have a
statue.
question? What does best of a bad bunch? Why would you go for
Best of a
best
bad
of a bad
midfield bunch when all the midfielders were
Because
failing
you don't
around
have
him.
to
It
put
took an 18-year-old. It took an
you don't have to
18-year-old. Sorry?
you don't have to pick a midfielder. You can be 5 strikers, isn't it? You don't know that, no? Yeah.
Yeah, but the other
Why do
strikers,
you have to go for a
Jota's
best
been
of a bunch?
injured. Jota's been injured. Diaz has been
Jota,
injured.
Avi,
Nunes has been on and off.
So you
Avi,
choosing
Jota
over
got
Gakpo this
7,
season.
Jota got 7 and 8 goals at the end.
Yeah, but he's been missing for the rest of the most part
And
of the season.
and so has Curtis.
Yeah, but Curtis has been pivotal in the last 12 games. He's come back and he's answered a few critics, including yourself, Asim,
Yeah,
because
yeah.
you compared him to Emil Smith Rowe just a few weeks ago. But Sabr Karo,
Oh,
Sabr, and then and he's answered Gene as well. He's answered Gene as well. Gene was a
Look,
very
he's loving
critical
it.
of
He's
first time.
loving it. He's loving it.
Okay.
Anyway, look, I think I'm with thingy. I know you. I usually you put Firmino in. You put Firmino in as well, didn't you?
I put
No,
So you
Bobby
left
in here. I
Ibu
didn't.
out
I
and
put Bobby
Gakpo
in.
out.
I put Bobby in.
So you left Ibu and Gakpo for Jones and Bobby.
Gakpo or Bobby for me, but I've edged with Bobby just because of sentiment. I'm an idiot like that. So super chat by Ash, all big contributor as well in the comments, and with the super chats this season. So thank you, Ash. Ali, Gakpo, Salah, Ibu, and Stefan Bajicic. I think that's a great list. Ibu, yes, in the new system looked great, but a few
Yeah,
shaky
because that's
moments.
our list.
TK, all right, calm down.
Are
I
you
know
having
you're
a
on.
are you having a bad day? No one seems to agree with you in the comments today. The transfers come up
I'm
and you
not
get
there to be. I'm not there for everyone to
As if
be to agree with. I told you. I want to be everyone's enemy. Divish Rathod. Hope I've not butchered that name. Divish Rathod. Avi, the reason even Curtis got a chance is because Stefan got injured, and maybe then he wouldn't have made it in your list. Maybe, but he's been pivotal in that advanced 8 role. So
Avi, what do you think of Robo? Let's mention it, Robo.
I don't think he's been bad. I don't think he's been great, but I think he's got 8 9 assists again. Steady. I would say steady, but we know he can go up another level, 100%. Trent
below
again.
par, Asim.
Trent was below par prior to the switch. Very average, but since this shape change, since we giving him that sort of inverted role into midfield, absolutely superb. So Robbo, I want to keep him. I know there was talk of Real Madrid, and I did tweet that you need characters like Robbo in the Liverpool team. We've always been successful with Scotsmen in our team of past years, 70s and 80s and 90s, and especially now. Robbo, I wouldn't sell him. He's just too big of a personality to let go. 40 million, no, I wouldn't sell him.
What rate? We're so relying on our fullbacks. Just to want to get your player ratings on our fullbacks. Give me your rating for Trent and Robo, Gene.
I think it's hard to give
Is your
Trent a
name
rate.
Gene? Is your name
It's your
Gene?
name,
I'll,
Gene. Be quiet, innit?
my name can be whatever I
Your
feel
name,
like. Yeah,
your
just
name's
remember that.
John Henry.
Yadrak.
Your name's John Henry. You just have that checkbook ready in the summer. But Gene, are you checking your ratings here on your phone?
Yeah, just to make sure.
Okay, give me your Trent and Robo rating.
Look, I gave Robbo 5 for the season, and I gave Trent 6. I gave Trent 6 because I thought he was shocking at the start, but at least he's obviously in terms of change of position. Now I think he's been brilliant in games, and he sort of turned it around. So I gave him. I think there probably is a bit of recency bias, but Robbo, yeah, I think we got his numbers in terms of assists may look good, but there's times this season he's been shocking, like really bad. And the reason why I gave him a point less than Trent is because we've seen an improvement in Trent's game, in Trent's play. Amir Hamza, thank you, man. Me and you agree. So that's why I give Trent a 6 and a Robbo 5.
I mean, that's fair enough, isn't it? It's about fair. Trent only probably gets an extra point is because since we changed the system, he's been an integral part of it.
I think Trent before the system was a 4, very poor this season. Post system change, I think he's been an 8. So I'll come somewhere down the middle. 6 is fine.
Yeah.
Robbo, I think Robbo's been okay. Yes, pre January, December, iffy start, but nothing major in his mistakes. Maybe the Arsenal one at home a few weeks back, a month back.
Avi, you'll be surprised about the amount of bad games Robbo's had this season. I think maybe over the last 10 games he's got away with it. He hasn't had that many bad games. But
Gene,
the
just
course
coming
of the season, there were a
I
lot
think
of
that's
games,
the
man,
standard
I thought
that
was
they've
shocking.
set them. I think that's the standard that they've set themselves up in, like in previous seasons. That their standard has been so high, and a 6 or a 7 out of 10 is probably described as a bad performance. But Robbo, maybe a 5. Yeah, 5 is fine. Average. But they'll go again next season, especially Robbo. I think he'll have a better season next season, depending on what happens, whether we get a left centre back in. Just got a quick super chat. I don't want to hold it back. Trent deserves a mention since April 9th. He tops every metric in the Prem for all midfielders, including assists, chance created, and ball possession won. Yeah, like I said, he's probably an 8 out of 10 post the Arsenal game or the Arsenal game and beyond.
Avi Cody didn't get into your top 5, but we have a player who, let's be honest, struggled a touch when he came in. A lot of people said, why have you questioned? People went for, Pep Lijnders' book again. He's got too much control. He's got too much influence on Jurgen Klopp. Why is he signing these sort of players? But since he's come into that false 9 position, he's found himself. And Bobby Firmino is not a player that you really want to come in for because you'll always get compared to him. But Gakpo does it in his own way. But what we love about him is he's so adaptable, he's so versatile. how many positions has he played in January? Since January, that when he came in, uh, left-sided wide attacker, uh, left-sided midfield, right-sided midfield, the false nine position, of course. Here we have a footballer that is down to earth and he's hungry and he knows what he wants. And come next season, we're just going to see him develop into a brilliant footballer.
Yeah, and I don't think we should judge him yet. Coming into this team in disarray, it wasn't like Luis Diaz who came in last season and we were top of the league and we were like playing well. And so him integrating Diaz into our team was a lot easier than integrating a Gakpo. Yes, he was sort of finding his feet first few games, but the Everton game, the Newcastle finish, the United game, obviously just on the top of my head, he's found his feet. I think a good preseason, getting to know the system more, um, and just being with that team, having a tight contingent of players during preseason, going away with the players, getting to know them more. I think Cody Gakpo will be a phenomenal player next season. And I trust me, I was the one that was needing convincing. I won't beat around the bush. I was like, you know what, I need a lot of convincing when it comes to Cody Gakpo, or in particular Dutch players, Dutch forward players coming into the Premiership of late, because it's never really worked out. But Gakpo, yeah, I think he's got a real shot at being our number 9 next season on a regular basis. And Darwin Núñez, for all the support that I'll give him, he's got a job on his hands to get in front of him.
What talking of Darwin Sheen, what would you give Darwin Nunes a score this season? Because this is going to be interesting.
Look, I'm gonna make sure again. Darwin Núñez. I gave him a 5, Asim. Look, Darwin Núñez. Look, I think 5 is about fair. Only because look, I just think first part of the season, if we're going by a player that's average, it's around 5, 6, let's say. If a guy for me at a decent start of the season, he got sent off, fair play. I come back, he was out. Let's say the music. He was our main man in terms of striking feed into the opposition. But everybody knows what I've thought of him over the last few months. And I'm not going to go down that road again because everybody knows I think he's been really, really bad. And that's me being nice. That's why I gave him a 5. And I think, to be fair, that's the fair sort of rating. And plus, I know you shouldn't look at a price tag, but at the end of the day, £65 million is a lot of money. For Liverpool Football Club, that is a hell of a lot of money. And I expected more from Núñez. In terms of his play, yeah, look, I thought at the start he was amazing when he used to go down the line. He used to cause a lot of havoc. He caused havoc sort of thing. But I'll be honest, I expected him to be a better finisher than what I've seen. And I know that will come in time. I do trust him. I think he will come good. Do I have doubts? First one to admit it, yes. But I believe, like Avi mentioned, with the preseason behind him, I think, look, Gakpo coming in and doing so well so quickly, and obviously there's no language barrier with Gakpo. He fit into the system sort of straight away. I think that put a bit more pressure on Núñez, and I know he's had this crazy foot injury which you always mention, Asim, on his foot. So maybe that had an impact on him in the second half of the season. But I think 5 personally is a fair sort of rating, and I actually want to know what you two think.
Avi, is 5 fair?
I thought Darwin Núñez from the Man United game beforehand was a 7 for me. All things considering, he was probably our top performer. The only one that was, had a bit of aggression, had something about him, was causing problems for the opposition. That Spurs game from the left-hand side, he was phenomenal that game. Absolutely brilliant. Gave the right side an absolute torrid time. Post Man United game, that toe injury and just out of sorts. Klopp calling him out a little bit on the language barrier that he needs to improve on that. He's probably been a 4.5, 4.
No chance.
Can I finish? Can I finish?
Fair,
I've not given you my
this
overall
is the thing
rating.
with Avi, man.
I've not given you my overall rating. Why does he have to always? Okay, look quickly.
So
A 7 from the United game and previous performances. Post United, probably about a 3 or a 4. Overall, considering that big money, feeling in Mane's shoes, the language barrier, I'm hoping that he has that Suarez effect next season, where everything will just go in for him. The finishing, the just knowing where your bearings are. I think that's where he needs to work on preseason. So for me, overall, I think a 6. It might be too kind. It might be, you've given him an extra rating there, 5. I think all things considering, I think 6 is a fair assessment.
Gina, I'd probably go and just sit in between you both. I'd probably go for a 5.5. And it's probably not a 5 is because you have to consider these sort of things. First year, language barrier, coming and, replacing Sadio Mane. And let's not forget, I don't think playing on the left-hand side of the attack is Darwin Núñez's strength. He's only been doing it because, Gakpo came in January this year. What's his name? Diaz and Jota have been out injured, and we couldn't get out, and we were not sustaining attacks. He was the sort of outball for us for many, many games, especially in the early parts of the season. And you have to consider this. The price tag, like you mentioned, all these have had an effect. I agree with Avi that since sort of the foot injury, I would have liked him to show a bit more fight to get him back into the team. I think that I've seen a bit of a different body language on Darwin Núñez since Gakpo has been doing well in that false nine position. I wanted him to come on the pitch and really go. But if anything, I've not seen things, and that's one thing you probably expect to see from Darwin Núñez is fight.
And he needs to sort of relish that. He needs to relish that competition. That's how he's going to become the player that we expect him to be. And if he hasn't got that stomach if he hasn't got the stomach for it, Klopp will very easily like assess him on that basis and say, you're not cut out for this team. It's all about competition, and we will try to get the players fighting for each position. But Darwin Núñez needs to have the stomach for it, and we'll see a lot in preseason. I know they say, oh, take preseason with a pinch of salt. No, with Darwin Núñez and a couple of other players in that squad, we will learn a lot. There's absolutely no way he's being loaned out or being sold. Forget all that. I think there's a comment by Ads LFC. Thanks for joining the chat and comments. I don't think we will sell him at all. Whether someone puts in a 50, 60 million pound offer for him, no way. Darwin Núñez will be a Liverpool player, and I think we'll get the best out of him next season.
Yeah, I think 13 goals and what 2-3 assists for a guy who's just come in. I think it's okay, and this is the reason why we've given him. Look, it's not far off. Gene's gone 5, but we need to sort of decide. Gene, we can't hear you. We need.
No, I think I get it with everything that you've said. I get it. And if you both believe is around the 5.56, okay, fine. I'm willing to go 5.5, but I'm not willing to go 6 because I think it's a fair. You make a good point. You both, and fair play. I'm willing to go 5.5 for him.
Any notable mentions, Avi? Who do you? What about Captain Fantastic, Mr. Jordan Brian Henderson? We have to talk.
Can I go now? Because I'm hungry.
No, you go when you finish.
I'm joking, because I'll be honest with you. Let's not even go there. The reason why I said I'm going is because I don't want to talk about our captain.
Henderson, I'll go first. This is the area that we need the big operation in. I probably give Henderson a 3 for the season. I was just about to say 2, and I could have sort of justified the 2 as well. But look, he's done bits for us over the years. He's not, and even Jordan Henderson would admit he's not the most gifted technical footballer in the world, but he has done his job. And his main asset at Liverpool Football Club was winning the ball back, being a leader and really initiating and being the catalyst to our counter press. And when you lose that energy, lose the juice in your legs, then what are you doing in this team? And I'm sorry, we need to replace Jordan Henderson in the team. I don't want to see Jordan Henderson in the 6th role. I don't want to see Jordan Henderson in the 8th role. And what I mean by that is in the first team. He still probably has got a role to play, a James Miller type of role, a sort of a versatile player that can do a job in numerous positions. But to sort of really start Jordan Henderson, I don't think he can play 2-3 games a season, a week now. I think those days are gone. And you see it, where he sort of...
Asim, he can't play one game in a week right now. Simple truth.
No, in terms of fitness, I mean. In terms of intensity.
That's
let
such Asim, 1 minute. That's such an idiotic comment to make, Gene. He's our club captain. Yeah, give him some respect. He's been here for 10+ years
look,
now.
this is Avi.
Okay, no. I get it. He's not good
You might
enough,
as well
and
keep Bobby.
we
You
need
might as well
moving.
keep Milner. They've been
We
our
need
vice
moving.
captains. They've
No,
been amazing service to our club. You're
Asim, listen. I'm not gonna judge Henderson. I'm not gonna give him a rating because he's been
No,
battered
no, no. This
from
is a
pillar to post
Avi.
from
Sorry,
the from the
interject.
minute that he walked in those Melwood doors
You
since
know what? You
when
sit on
Kenny
the fence,
Dalglish brought
Avi.
him in. When
You
Kenny
can't be. You
Dalglish
can't come out.
when
Avi,
Kenny Dalglish brought him
Avi, I'm
in,
sorry.
he's
As
been
the host,
battered.
Avi, as the host, I have to come in. I'm sorry. I have to interject. You just said I cannot give Jordan Henderson, our captain, a player rating. We're doing a rating show, so bloody give me one.
No, I'm not gonna. I'm not gonna rate him. I'm not gonna rate him. Listen, we know he's not probably not good enough now. Yeah, but listen, he's still our club captain. He still represents what this football club is all about. Okay, yes, he's a yard short now. He is 33 in July, guys. Okay, he's still carrying this football team. He's always had that
Carrying this.
negativity
How is he
around
carrying
him.
this football?
I'm
No,
not
no,
going to
no.
give him a
Explain to
rating.
me how he's
He
carrying this
deserves
football
respect.
team.
He deserves respect,
Look, we're not
and we need to give
disrespecting.
him the respect. I'm not going to rate him. I'm sorry, you're not going to get a rating from me about Jordan Henderson this
I
season.
think what's the point of being on the show if this guy can't even give the rating? If it's a rating
What, one
show,
player? What, because of one player? I don't want to give
you
him a
give him the
rating.
rating.
I'm not going to give
Obviously,
no.
we're only rating 5 players.
Some of the abuse that player has faced this season,
Avi,
so
Avi,
from
That's got
content
nothing
creators
to do
too,
with it.
from content creators, from people in Twitter comments, like honestly, like dude, we need to really be calm about this. Honestly,
okay,
he's been a
Avi,
pivotal part of this football club.
no one,
He's seen heartache, he's seen a heartache,
Avi,
adversity, and he's still here standing. He is still here standing. So no, I won't give him I won't
Avi,
give him a rating.
this is not a review of Jordan Henderson's career at Liverpool FC because
Well, when people say he can
everyone has
barely
respect
play once a week, that's a stupid comment to make.
because he
Why
can't.
is it a stupid comment to me? He hasn't been good enough. So if he's not been good enough, he's not good enough
Let's
to play
give
one
Thiago a
game a week
rating.
for me
Putter, let's
personally.
give Thiago a
What's the
rating.
Thiago got to be?
Let's give
Stick with the
Thiago a
horse,
rating.
bro.
Yeah, a
Stick with
player
the
that
horse.
you
Stick
absolutely
with the
adore
horse.
and love.
We will give
Stick with the
Thiago
horse.
a rating. We will give Thiago a rating. But Avi, can you give me a Jordan Henderson a player rating?
I refuse to give a rating. I'm sorry.
Because look, okay, if you refuse, that's fine. But this is not us or me. I have to, Gene will speak for himself. This is not me disrespecting our captain. We're only judging players on pitch performances here, and what he's done as a captain, as a player of the years, he's been absolutely brilliant. Is he the most successful captain that we've had? Yes, but yeah, you have to understand when his legs have gone, what role does he have in this team at the moment? Our midfield is gone. It's lifeless. And we have no legs. We can't win the ball back. And in this system, the reason why we change to this system is because we don't win the ball back. And the reason why you play an extra midfielder now is to make sure the likes of Fabinho. Why has Fabinho looked a bit better? Because he's got a bit of support. But when you play Jordan Henderson, yes, he does a job in this system. He goes out wide to keep Salah narrow. But you can't say I'm not going to give him a rating because
Oh,
we're
yeah,
disrespecting him
Asim,
as a
listen.
person. What he's done
Can I,
for this football club on and off the let me finish, Gene. For on and off the pitch has been second to none. No one is questioning his leadership skills on and off the pitch. But here is a player rating for this season, Avi, and you're refusing to give him a rating, which I find, I don't know what the word is, but it's shocking.
coward. He's a coward for not calling it out, Asim. That's what it is. Straight up. End of the day, he's the one that said to us on our group, you know what, Saj, we're going to give player ratings to all our players. We give the player ratings. Why is he not giving a player rating on one of the players? Be a man and give the player rating.
Avi, are you a coward?
Let's move on. I'm
Are
not
you
going
a
to give a rating to Hendo. I'm not.
Avi, are you a coward? Coward.
It's not about nothing to do with being a coward. And if that's what Gene wants to call me, that's totally
Avi,
fine.
for God's sake, this
It's
is
simple
a
truth.
clear.
It's
I'm
the
not going to give
truth,
him.
though.
I'm not going to give him a
Thiago
rating. I'm
wouldn't
not going to
come
give him a rating. I'm sorry. Let's move on. Swiftly moving on.
He never seems to surprise you, this lad. He's not given a Jordan Henderson. Well, Avi looks like gassed out as well. Anyway, anyone else you want to mention? Do you want to discuss Thiago? We're not hiding here.
No, I
Avi.
don't. I don't want to give a rating on him, Asim. I refuse to give a rating.
Let's go to the new signings that came in.
Okay, Arthur, we just move on. Ramsey, we move on. We've discussed Nunes. Let's go, Carvalho.
No, how many are we going to go through, man? Forget his
We're
rating
going,
business. He's not willing to do it. Can we talk about signings?
yeah, there's no point
What's the
discussing
point?
that.
He might refuse. He might
There's no
refuse.
No, I won't refuse new signings. I won't refuse new signings.
okay.
No, no,
There's
But
no
we've
I
point.
spoke,
refuse though.
we've so, listen. We've spoken about Gakpo. We've spoken about Nunes. We can speak
And
about Carvalho,
there's
Ramsey,
no
and
point
Arthur.
discussing.
There's not a lot to talk
Arthur and
about.
Ramsey, forget about him. Arthur
There's
and
not a
Ramsey,
lot to
Arthur,
talk
forget
about
about him. I
Arthur
don't
or
want
Ramsey
exactly.
and
we
We'll
Carvalho.
don't.
move on to this.
There's not much to mention. Carvalho is just he didn't get his chance. Be interesting to see what we do in the summer with Carvalho. I think it's inevitable that he will be sent out on loan.
Mm. Okay, Gakpo, we've already discussed. Let's go to the manager rating, guys. Gene, I'll come to you first. Jurgen Klopp as a manager, what does he deserve in your eyes?
For a team that went for everything last year, and look, taking into consideration that we all thought that we'd be challenging for the title. Was he given the tools? Is the first thing I always ask. Is did he have enough? Probably not. We all deep down know that he didn't have the midfielder. There was one midfielder that we needed to buy in the summer, and he probably would have wanted a Tuchemani. Obviously, we missed out on him, and we ended up with Arthur. Obviously, injuries played a part on this season, especially the first part of the season. We missed, there were so many of, especially our forward line. The midfielders were all over the shop. Defensively, we were shambles. But there was times in the season where I thought he had to change it. He had to change it. He had to change it, and he didn't. And it's only when it sort of hit the fan that he sort of changed the sort of system. Yes, there was a few tweaks during the season which he did make, but I was expecting changes which, like the trend into the midfield sort of thing, inverted earlier. And look, end of the day, Asim, Liverpool Football Club, we base him on we nearly completed football to missing out on Champions League football. That is a massive. That's just not good enough for Liverpool Football Club. And for me personally, if we're given an average of 4, that's below average. So personally, I would go with probably something around a 4. Probably a 4, I think, is fair. But that's me personally. Yeah, might not have the tools, but we only missed out on Champions. We nearly completed football year before. So yeah, 4.
Avi, Gene raises some good points that this is a manager that nearly completed football last year. But he also wasn't backed like the way that Liverpool fans wanted him to get backed. We've always been hearing about this summer, legacy summer, but the summer has never come. Maybe it'll come this summer. We never know. But Jurgen Klopp's
Legacy Summer's gonna be the one. Go on.
Jurgen Klopp's rating, Avi, what did you make of it? And does it really your rating pin on the fact that we've missed out on Champions League football?
No, look, Klopp's got enough credit in the bank with us, right? A 4 is probably.
Avi, this is not about credit in the bank.
Yeah,
This is about the whole
do you actually understand what
this
we're doing?
season.
Do you actually understand this show?
Yeah,
One second, Asim. I want you to ask him. Does he understand what he's doing?
this fucking bozo, yeah, but beneath me, that's where he will always be, beneath me. TK, he's no, but ask him, like, he's not letting me finish. Let me finish. I might be waffling
Asim, you
today, but
came
let
in.
me
Asim,
finish,
you
please.
came in then. Asim, you came in then as well.
Let me finish, okay? But let me finish, okay?
Okay.
Under my bear that you are. Listen, Klopp, right? Forget the credit thing, right? He made the switch of the system way too late. I've been banging on about it for weeks on end, months on end, that Trent needs to be in a midfield position. He's not in a midfield. He's not in a pure midfield position now, but he has to be. We need to change where we operate with Trent. He did that with 10 games, 12 games to go. We're seeing fruitions of it. We still got to see perfection of the system. Still a long way to go, whether that's personnel or whether that's more work on the training ground. Only time will tell with a good preseason. He gets a 4 out of 10 for me. Because this manager, he will fight till the very end. He won't give up on this club. He won't give up on the players. He has made mistakes. He has made there's been tactical flaws in the way he's implemented his team this season. I look at the games against Brentford away, where we were bullied the season before in the 3-3. This season, we were bullied again in the 3-1 defeat. There's been too many results where he hasn't changed it. And even second half, a little pep talk, it hasn't done it for him. So we will give him a 4 out of 10. It's been a poor outing from him as well, Jurgen Klopp, and his coaches. They all are culpable. Hopefully, next season with the players that we are looking forward to that are coming in, hopefully he improves on that rating, and I'm sure he will.
Right, guys, Asim, honestly, I have to go. I'm really, really sorry to everybody. I know, honestly, I've got to go now. It's
Yeah,
busy.
tu
I'm
muh
about to
mitha
put my
kar. Go and have your
cake.
cake. Go on.
Anyway, guys, I hope you enjoyed me schooling Avi today. Take care. Goodbye.
The founder of the channel. Check this out. The founder of the channel, and he walks away, and we're still here standing. So yeah, you schooled me all right, Gene. Carry on.
You
Go on,
know what?
Asim.
You know
What's your
what?
rating, Asim?
I'll go for. Look, I absolutely adore Jurgen Klopp as a manager. I think pound for pound, he's better than Guardiola. That's how much I love him, pound for pound. And this is the why I'm screaming out to our owners. And you've got John Henry as your name today, I know you call him like to call him your uncle. I want your uncle Avi to really back Jurgen Klopp this summer because we know what we've got. We've got an absolute world class manager at our club, and we feel he just doesn't have the tools. But ultimately, when I look at this squad and the performance of the manager and his coaching staff this season, regardless of the injuries and the personnel and the lack of backing in the summer, it was at least good enough for top four. And I believe what cost us, Avi, is the system change, where a lot of fans, like you just said, we've talked about it on BNR for weeks before it happened. The system change, it came too late. It came too late, and because I know he was obsessed with the fact that this 4-3-3 and the sort of high press, Jurgen Klopp style was still working, and these sort of players are so great that it'll click. It'll click. We were just being there was a period in the season where we were just I don't know what we were doing. You talked about it on across the pond with Evan many times, and he showed some graphics of our press. It was non-existent, Avi. The players didn't know what they were doing. And that period, I believe, it cost us top four. And even against Real Madrid, how many times have you heard Carlo Ancelotti saying, you know what, just give the ball to Fabinho and sort of stay compact, and they're over reliant on their fullbacks. And Jurgen Klopp still, because he's obsessed with this plan A, because when plan A is working, it's the best plan in the world. Guardiola, how many times have I mentioned it in Germany when he saw it for the first time, he thought, wow, this gegenpress is unbelievably intense and you can't control it. And this is one of the reasons why he's got a better head-to-head record against Guardiola. Again, playing his sort of juggernaut of a sides with, Bayern Munich and Liverpool, arguably, lesser sides against compared to Bayern Munich and Barcelona. So, coming back to his performances this season, I think the system change, we saw tweaks like Gene said, but the main system change, Avi, it cost us because it came too late. And even though it's not fine-tuned, it's not the finished article as we saw in the last 4 or 5, we only saw today, it's not the finished article, but it gives us solidity. It gives us an extra man in midfield, and it gives us an extra creator, our best creator, the protection and the time on the ball that he needs. And Ibu has played that role unbelievably well. And we'll see him continue in doing that. But coming back to Klopp, I think I have to agree, maybe a 3.5. At best, I would go with a 4 because, we missed out on top 4. We missed out. And if he got top 4, I would have still given him maybe a 5 or a 6. But we missed out on top 4. And that is critical for me. And unfortunately, that's why I give him maybe a 3.5, max 4.
Yeah, I think 4 out of 10 is. I think that's fair, and across the board, I think Gene agreed with that as well. Even those player ratings, people are giving a rating on your hosting skills for part one. So you got a 8 out of 10
I'm
for your
happy with
hosting.
that.
Yeah,
I'm
no,
happy.
I think you're good. I think you're good. Let me know when you're wrapping up. People are waiting for an update on Romeo Lavia. So, is there anything else we've got to cover? We've given our
No,
awards. We've given our sort of appreciation for the players, managers, and look, we've just got to stick in it together, and we've got to believe that the owners of this football club are gonna stump up the cash, and they have to. And I think with the imminent arrival of McAllister, I think that's a super start. Groundwork obviously has been done early on that transfer. Romeo Lavia, Asim, I did message you guys yesterday, I think, of talks with Romeo Lavia and his reps. He's another one of the serious contenders that we're looking at. Also been looking at Kefren Turam, but Southampton won close to 50 million for Romeo Lavia. So I'm not sure 50 million, yes, in and around that figure. So whether we're able to part ways with that much money, I do feel that if you up that 50 million, there's probably players out there who are kind of a little bit more advanced in their development, i.e. the Kepfin Chirams. But Romeo Lavia has got a 15 million bounty on his head, and Caicedo is available for 75 million. Um, and you know me, he's always been my first
Ooh.
choice. We were definitely in the running for him until Tony Bloom said, "These how much he's worth in January," and then Arsenal came in, and Arsenal were favourites at one stage, so much so that Caicedo came out with an Instagram post saying, "Please let me leave," and he could have made the difference to that Arsenal team. I really believe if they had got him in, I think they would have edged that title race, but it wasn't to be. So let's see what happens. So look, there's so much to look forward to. I do feel that there will be an confirmation of the McAllister transfer by Wednesday by the club, and I think one of the big journos will break some news of another midfielder that we're in talks with
Just,
before Thursday, Friday.
just to get this right, Avi, bit of clarity on the Lavia situation. Did you say Liverpool have put a bid in for 50
No,
million?
no, Southampton that's how much Southampton won.
Okay,
Yeah,
okay, 50 million. And do you see Liverpool stumping up the cash?
I think if Kefren Turam, which I feel talks have happened, if that doesn't happen, I think Romeo Lavia is next on the list. Which I don't mind. I think he's a super player at 19 years old.
Mm.
Tweeted earlier on this morning. I saw a lot of him last night. He gives me shades of Kamavinga, and that is some seeding. So I
Yeah,
definitely would be definitely in the in I would definitely want us to look at Romeo Lavia as a serious option. But I think Kefren Turam is another one that's very, very, very serious under consideration.
we had a Mobby in the chat a couple of days ago, and he came and said, "Look, Liverpool." Oh, did he say Liverpool are assessing the situation,
Maybe exploring.
exploring,
Yeah.
and
And
just
I would take Moby's word on this Tuchemani stuff. He's mentioned before to us on Twitter as well and on private conversations that Tuchemani wasn't entirely happy at Madrid. So let's see. I think there's wonderful footballers out there, especially midfielders. Florentino Luis, I know, has been looked at. Ugarte, I don't know what the situation is with that, but there's so many options this summer, and I will be absolutely shocked if we're not getting three bodies in, three
three
midfielders in at least.
midfielders. Yeah, so McAllister is the one you expect Liverpool to bring in. You know what concerns me is Avi is I think the links with Lavia and Kefren Turam sort of excite me because I think they will give Fabinho. They're good enough to, especially Kefren Turam, is good enough to start for Liverpool. Maybe a Lavia instead of Fabinho. I don't know how Jurgen Klopp sees that. Maybe he sees him as more of a backup option at the moment. But we definitely need, a central defensive midfielder. And I'm not going to lie, I'm not seeing a lot of Kefren Turam, and I don't know if Bilal is in the chat today, but all these guys on the BNR WhatsApp group. If you're not in there, messages on Twitter, get the link off us and join the discussion. There'll be plenty of transfer discussion in the summer. But everyone absolutely loves Kefren Turam because they see him as an all-round box-to-box. He's tenacious in the tackle. He's got skill. He can carry a ball from deep areas. And this is something that we've missed since Gini Wijnaldum, Avi, where if someone who picks the ball up from deep areas and can progress the ball, 20, 30 yards up the field and get us up in areas that we're going to hurt the opposition.
Yeah, I was a big fan of his dad, Lilian Thuram, right back, centre back, World Cup winner, Euro 2000 winner, absolutely brilliant. So that Thuram name has so much sort of prestige, and he that's not the name. He's a quality player for Nice. Um, I think they want 60 million though, Asim. I think they want 60. And if we really think he's a real deal, we should pay it. But I know, from a person that told me on Twitter who's very reliable amongst French football and stuff, he did say to me, and I did say on the show last week, that a bid did go in for Kefren Chudam. So let's see where it takes us. I think there's loads of options, Asim.
Look at this guy. Look at this guy.
Well, what would you expect from him? Anyway, but he's right though, guys. Smash the like button. This has been our end of season wrap. We will be doing weekly shows now, with transfer daily, maybe not daily 15-20 minute snips, but we'll definitely do anything that breaks. Me and Asim will definitely quickly get on a stream and just talk about players, targets. Like I said, this week we probably do a show on the imminent arrival of one player, and then I think another player that we're in talks with. And let's see. And we'll definitely be doing other shows, some quizzes across the pond. We'll be doing a show, final season show on Friday. Me and Evan will be having a break after that for 2-3 months. I'll still be obviously doing shows with Asim and Gene during the weekly. I think you got super chat as well, Asim, and I'll let you close out.
Super chat. I didn't see it. Oh, there we are. Oh, Teak, our main man. He goes, he says, let's go again next season. FSG, please back the best manager in the world. BNR, a great debut season. I think I'm glad someone mentioned that as well. BNR, it's like I said, we touched on, it's our first season. It's not even our first season. I think we've been doing it for about 6 months now, 6 to 8, 7 months. And like we said, we've got so many things planned. We've got fan camps. We're buying the equipment at the moment. I'm not going to talk about any tactic shows because Ahmed Twins Ball Daily is going to absolutely slaughter me, saying he's been waiting for them for the months on end. But I can assure you they will be here. We've got a few people who will be helping us with the editing side of things, and that's the only reason why that show hasn't kicked off. Wakile is in the house. He'll be doing some transfer daily and sort of shows with you as well, Avi. So we'll stay active. Liverpool are going to be active in the transfer market. BNR are going to be active in the summer on the YouTube scenario. So thank you very much, everyone, for all their support. Honestly, the love and support that we've just not on YouTube and the comments and everywhere, the people on WhatsApp, people have started stopping me in a sort of in the local town. Even Man United fans have been saying, we only watch you when you lose. So even though they come and troll us, but we're here. We don't sing.
Are people stopping you? Are people stopping you because of your association with the channel, or people stopping you because of your fashion sense? Which is absolutely shocking, by the way. God
like
knows God
you.
knows some of the clothes that you wear. Please follow Asim's Instagram page. He's got a fashion page. Some good outfits, to be honest, in his younger days, but some of the latest shocking, absolutely shocking,
So
shocking.
you've been scrolling down, haven't you? You like
Of
that
course,
blue
I
shirt.
no, I think you're a very attractive man. I think you're a very attractive man, Asim. You know, I pay you plenty of compliments.
No, Avi, but honestly, officially want to say thank you very much. Every week you have a different name, but you're that character that you absolutely love, not just by us, by all the comment
The
section.
Waffler, the
That,
Waffler. I think that's a
no,
beautiful name. The Waffler is the
you're,
best name.
you're a bit more than a waffler. I'll give you that. You're our waffler and you're our in-house ITK as well. But Kadir, a proper supporter, not just on the WhatsApp threads, every single occasion. I think he missed one show and he went home and watched it straight away. And he goes and he says, best channel about. Oh, yeah,
I'm
thank you
sorry.
very much. Thank you. Best channel about lads, no sugarcoating, great banter between all three. May you keep growing, inshallah, and we will grow together. And that's what we intend to do. We will do this anyway because it's a hobby and it's Liverpool Football Club that we adore and love and cherish. But let's not make no mistake about it. If we can talk to and get more people involved, whether it's in the comment section or as contributors, then the more the merrier. So we've got so much to look forward to, and we shall see you very, very soon. And have it's bank holiday again, Avi.
It's
It's
a
bank
bank
holiday.
holiday too here. It's a Memorial Day tomorrow, so we've all got it off us. I'm sure we'll be on a late phone chat at midnight your time. So yeah.
Have you done your walk yet?
No, I'm doing that later on. Later on.
Okay. You call me when you walk. I'll keep you company. Maybe you can give me another exclusive whilst you're on the walk. But until then, thank you very much, guys. That was BNR. Have a good night.